My name is Michael Morgan. I'm doing this video in hopes that you will get to know me a little bit better, in lieu of, obviously, I'm probably not going to be able to meet many of you, and so hopefully this video will give you a little profile of what I'm all about. I am 23 years old. I was born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I currently live here in Ottawa, Ontario. I've spent most of my life here. We moved here in 2000, so I've been here for about 10 years. I am the eldest of three. I have a younger brother who's in the Canadian Armed Forces, and I have a younger sister who is currently in high school at grade 9. I love hockey. My entire life has revolved around the sport, and so I've led a pretty active life up to this point. I played hockey when I was a little younger. I've coached it, I've officiated it, and so I've gotten involved in almost every aspect of the game, and I still currently watch it almost religiously. I also love to golf, and so that usually keeps me very active and busy in the summer as well. I am fresh out of university. I graduated in May of 2009 with 2 university bachelor degrees, one in social science, and so that includes history and geography, and my other degree is obviously in education. I have a BEd, a Bachelor's of Education, at the secondary level. My teaching involved secondary students. My teaching experience up to this point revolves mostly around my practicum experience that I received in university. I did a 6-week practicum in my 3rd year in Gatineau, Quebec, and I did a 13-week practicum in Montreal, Quebec, both at the secondary level and both teaching history, and so most of the lessons and activities that we all did revolved around history, and a lot of that was students discovering things for themselves. And I'll talk about that a little later. My teaching style, how I usually attempt to run things, I normally love being the center of attention. I love being the biggest thing in the room. I want kids to be paying attention to what I'm doing. As you can see, I love to talk a lot with my hands and just make myself look big. I feel that a strong classroom presence usually helps with classroom management and usually helps things go along much smoothly. I'm fair and consistent with everything that I do. That way kids know the expectations, they know what needs to be done, what I expect from them, and I don't change it from day to day. And so I find that makes for a much easier learning environment. As kids understand, they come into the classroom, they know what they're supposed to do, and so we can just get down to it and we don't waste too much time. I like to mix things up. A lot of the times I do enjoy doing just direct teaching where I might be explaining something or kids have to just solely listen to me. But of course, I do love kids working on their own. I feel the best way to learn something is through working on your own. And so whether it be working on some activity individually or working in pairs or partners, obviously I understand teaching younger children to speak English. A lot of it may be more direct teaching, whether it be looking at flashcards or working on basic conversation one-on-one. But I also feel that the kids can work together and learn off each other as well. And so I would try and organize as many activities as I can where they might work together. They might feel more comfortable working with one of their classmates, say, than just solely working with me. And obviously I would always be there as sort of a guide to make sure that things are running smoothly. My understanding so far of Korean children, one of the things that I've heard is that they are very, very shy. And so obviously it would be my job to try to break that barrier and get them to open up and to speak as much as they can. I think that the best way to do that is to get to know your students, get to know your children, get to know what they're into, what they're like, what their parents do, what their home life is like. I think that if you could get them talking about something that they're very, very familiar with, I think that that might get the ball rolling and they might begin to open up more and more, and they would be more willing to try out new things or more willing to communicate or not so shy anymore, essentially, is what I'm getting at. And I'm very, very excited to build on the teaching skills that I have. Obviously, I'm very, very young. I'm not married. I don't have any children, and so the idea of going overseas is very, very exciting to me. I'm very interested in Korea and the Asian culture in general. Korea would give me a great opportunity to travel around and see other parts of the world, see what other cultures are like that are so different from our own. One of the things that really I thought kind of fascinating, I read about Korea the other day, was the idea that you don't celebrate your birthdays on the actual day you were born. Everybody celebrates their birthday on January 1st, or the new year, and so when everyone's born, you're automatically 1 year old, and so I thought that very, very fascinating, and obviously very different than the Western culture that we have here. So I'm very, very interested in learning about the Korean culture. I'm very, very interested in building upon the teaching experience that I have thus far, and I'm very interested in working with the children over there, children who are eager to learn, which here in Canada and America and the Western world, I think that children kind of take education for granted, as it's, you know, something that we all have, and obviously you have it in Korea as well, but I think that for the children there to have the opportunity to have a teacher from the outside world, somebody who's completely different, grew up in a different culture, I think that that's very exciting for them, and I think it makes for an exciting classroom in general. Thank you very much. I hope that this video helps, and I hope to be in talks with you soon. Alright, bye-bye.